Hello, City Council.
Let's start, wait till he gives me a second.
Okay.
On there. Sign not work anymore.
Well, you're just not flipping it?
We're good. Good evening and welcome to City Council Conference of Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. One item on the agenda, this will make it easy to take care of. That's the discussion regarding the internal audit charter and policies. Shakira.
Good afternoon, City Council, citizens of Norman. Thank you for being here. What you have in front of you is the internal audit, internal charter. The red font is edits from Councilmember Montoya. The blue font are edits from Mayor Hypela. So just take a few minutes to glance over it or read it if you haven't had the chance to. And let me know if there's any changes that you would like. I'm more than happy to incorporate those changes and those suggestions. The next one is the policies and procedures. This is, it's very similar to, Oklahoma City's, policy and procedure resolution that they have implemented for their internal audit function for the Office of the City Auditor. So I just wanted to model it after that, something that was in action for some time now. I'm going to go through this presentation one more time. I've done it before, I've updated it, but we do have two new council members on the dais, so I wanted to at least include them in this presentation. So this is enhancing accountability and transparency, the value of internal audit and or the importance of internal audit in municipal governance. What is internal audit? It's also, the definition is there in the internal audit charter. Internal auditing is an independent objective assurance and consulting activity designed to add value and improve an organization's operations. It helps an organization accomplish its objectives by bringing a systematic, disciplined approach to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of risk management, control, and governance processes. A lot of times you will refer to this as GRC. Objectives of internal audit is to ensure compliance, to mitigate risks, improve operations, enhance accountability, enhance transparency. The key functions of internal audit is conducting risk assessments, which I am currently doing, it's ongoing. Developing audit plans. It's a risk-based triennial audit plan, meaning the audit plan will be based on the risk assessment. Triennial means it will be done every 3 years with an annual update based on priority changes, city council projects that they suggest or want me to look into, or other factors that may play into changing the prioritization schedule for the audit plan.
Can you remind us how many audits are you planning per year?
I can't give you an exact number, but I will say that whatever time and resources allow, I'll do my best to complete, and then I'll give you monthly and or quarterly updates with an annual update.
How many do you think will be on that triennial? Just curious, out of
Now?
past experience, I'm just kind of curious.
The triennial could have anywhere from 12 to 25.
Okay, divided by 3. Perfect, thank you.
Okay, key functions of internal, sorry, just went through that, sorry. Benefits of internal audit, it can enhance accountability, so it ensures compliance with laws, regulations, and policies, both state laws, federal laws, local laws, and internal policies for the city of Norman. Improve financial management, identifies inefficiencies, reduces waste, and enhances fiscal responsibility within the city of Norman. Effective risk management identifies and mitigates risk to protect municipal assets and our reputation. Transparency and trust, which is the utmost to the citizens of Norman, provide assurance to stakeholders and the public that municipal operations are conducted with integrity and efficiency. The internal audit process, in short, is planning, so identifying audit objectives, the scope of those objectives, and the resources used to carry out those objectives. Field work, gathering evidence, testing controls, and assessing risks. That's analysis, review, interviews, surveys, etc. Reporting, documenting the findings, the conclusions, and the recommendations. Follow-up is monitoring the implementation of corrective action. So just because recommendations is not where internal audit stops. Management has the right to refuse disagree, agree, or agree with modification, and it's internal audit's responsibility to monitor that corrective action schedule and ask them, when will those implementations be had, and what's the status of it, that kind of thing, and then report that back to you. Establishing governance for internal audit, which is why we are here today. Importance of governance in ensuring the effectiveness and independence of internal audit. Governance provides the necessary structure, policies, and procedures to ensure the effectiveness, independence, and reliability of the city's internal audit function. Establishing robust governance mechanisms is essential for establishing and maintaining the integrity and trustworthy of the internal audit function within the city. Lack of governance diminishes the credibility and value of internal audit and its auditing reports. So the components of governance, two of them you have in front of you, is the internal audit charter. It provides a statement of purpose, authority, and responsibilities of internal audit. The audit committee, which is still in process to become a committee, I believe, provides oversight and guidance over the internal audit activity, policies and procedures, which is also in front of you, establishes standards and processes for internal audit activities, and then the code of ethics. Ensures integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, and competency within the internal audit function of the city of Norman. The code of ethics is in a slide I added. I just wanted to go through it. So the code of ethics has 4 key principles. It's integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, and competence. So integrity of internal auditors establishes trust and thus provides a basis for reliance on their judgment, meaning tell the truth, do the right thing, even when it's difficult or uncomfortable to do so. The facts are the facts. Objectivity is an unbiased mental attitude that allows internal auditors to perform engagements in such a manner that they believe their work product and that no quality compromises are made. Objectivity requires internal auditors do not subordinate their judgment on audit matters to others. So more expansion on that is internal auditors exhibit the highest level of professional objectivity in gathering, evaluating, and communicating information about the activity or process being examined. Internal auditors make a balanced assessment of all relevant circumstances and are not unduly influenced by their own interests or by others in informing those judgments.
Shakira,
Yes,
unduly influenced.
yes. Unduly.
I just guess to me, that, does that indicate, maybe I'm reading it incorrectly or hearing it incorrectly? Does that have to do with you could be influenced?
No, that means I should act in a way that does not consider any influence.
Okay.
Just consider the facts.
Thank you.
Confidentiality. Internal auditors respect the value and ownership of information they receive and do not disclose information without appropriate authority unless there is legal or professional obligation to do so. Last one, competency. Internal auditors apply the knowledge, skills, and experience needed in performance of internal audit services. The rules of conduct also is an element of or component of code of ethics, and it describes the behavior norms expected of internal auditors. It's an aid to interpreting the principles into practical applications and are intended to guide the ethical conduct of internal audit. So why governance matters? It ensures independence, it ensures credibility, it improves effectiveness, and it aligns with best practices established by industry standards and regulatory requirements for internal auditing. So you got the Internal Institute of Internal Auditors, generally accepted government auditing standards, and COSO, the framework on internal control. Here's some case studies, some success stories from an internal audit perspective. Examples of municipalities that have benefited from establishing governance for internal audit. The Oklahoma State Auditor was established in 1907. We have an audit, these are recent articles that I found online. Audit shows likely misspent millions in federal relief funds. Improper oversight by state officials led to more than $29 million in federal funds being misspent that may have to be repaid to the federal government. Oklahoma Auditor and Inspector Cindy Bird said Tuesday. City of Tulsa, Office of the City Auditor, created 1909, implemented third line to detect fraud, waste, and abuse before it leaves the city's door. It integrates with the Tyler Munis Enterprise Resource Planning System, which we also use. I'm excited to hopefully demo that or talk to Third Line about their, possibly partnering with the City of Norman for that same service. In significant findings, city auditor points to gaps in Tulsa's 87.8 million COVID relief fund accountability. A report released by Tulsa City Auditor Kathy Criswell states the sheriff's office is overcharging the city of Tulsa for inmate housing, and a private company should take over the operations of county jail. The article said that $7.6 million is unaccounted for. Oklahoma City Office of the City Auditor created in 1975. OCPD employees discover missing property, room funds, and it leads to a city audit. Department's former chief requested the audit after an employee discovered property room was missing $26,000. Currently overcoming the challenges, common challenges in establishing governance for internal audit is resistance to change, resource constraints, and lack of awareness or understanding. Strategies for overcoming those challenges: education and awareness building, facilitating meetings, collaboration and stakeholder engagement, prioritization of resources, and support from leadership. Internal audit is big on the 3 C's: communication, collaboration, cooperation. Conclusion, summary of key points. Internal audit enhances accountability, transparency, and effectiveness in municipal governance. Establishing governance is essential for ensuring the independence and credibility of internal audit. And then the call to action is encouraging City Council to support the establishment of governance for internal audit to promote good governance and serve the best interests of constituents, i.e. the citizens of Norman. Questions and answers.
Just recently with the activation of the state of Oklahoma's reduction of grocery tax by the state's share, Mr. Francisco, he had shared with staff his concerns that some of the point of sale systems that are employed throughout the state are pretty antiquated. And now you're gonna be asking these retailers to really delineate what things are still taxable for both city and state grocery tax, because it wasn't a complete just eliminate 4% and call it good. Some things are still taxable depending on SKU number or barcode or however they define it in their retail establishment. Lo and behold, the very first day, we had employees and friends and family go grocery shopping and realize, uh-oh, they didn't collect the sales tax on anything, including the city's portion. A little concerning since about half the revenue in our general fund is sales tax on grocery items. So those are things when we make those discoveries that we run screaming to Shakira's office and say, oh, we have no idea how big this could be. And maybe it's not. Maybe it's a retailer that didn't quite code it. I know as I was out, I'm gonna go buy a pack of gum here today and see what happens, and I'm gonna go buy, pick an item, a loaf of bread, and see what happens. For a couple of days, the numbers kind of kept changing on how that tax was being calculated. So I know they were working to get it dialed in and accurate. Then a question was posed, hey, when, for example, the university went cashless, which we thought was probably a great idea because now everything has a digital record of that transaction. But has anybody ever followed the point of sale all the way through to the state? Did those dollars get remitted from that point of sale in the stadium to the state? And we all looked at each other and thought, I don't know if anybody's ever looked. So these items, these opportunities are now presenting themselves because we have a set of eyes and a perspective to be able to track those things down. We haven't even ventured off into, point of sale in cash transactions related to the medical marijuana industry. Nobody's ever looked. Are we collecting, are we receiving correctly hotel bed tax remittance? I don't think we've ever gone and audited the hoteliers who are collecting and remitting that hotel bed tax. So, this list can become exhaustive and it's illustrative, not all inclusive. So, I think we're going to continue to see value and opportunity as a result of this effort.
Darryl just named about 3 special projects Which would all be interesting if, you know, if it's lucrative and it saves the city money, money saved is money earned from an internal audit perspective. So, I've participated in everything but the marijuana business audit, being from New York, but nevertheless, probably about the same process.
I would imagine. We do have some expertise in-house though, just so, from how
Good to
that
know.
retail side works.
But how are you gonna be able to track all of those individual sales? If you're looking at the difference between processed and fresh food and all kinds of other stuff, are you doing that with AI or are you doing it with your eyes?
No, so the process that I'm familiar with is you would, of course, partner with the tax department. You would get the business's tax returns for 3 to 5 years. And then the tax returns being the federal tax returns and then the sales tax returns, and you could basically compare those numbers. I've had experience with, in that realm, where the sales tax returns report a different gross sales number than the actual tax return. And when you can, you know, identify that difference, you can just tax them on that difference of gross sales.
Thank you. Councilmember Hall?
And in Oklahoma, just Oklahoma City and Tulsa now have an internal auditor position, is that?
Yes, I've looked at Edmond, I've looked Broken Bow, I've looked yeah, it was Edmond, another one, but they outsource their internal audit function.
Okay. I know that you highlighted it, but the intent originally for this position was in part to help us identify not necessarily wasteful spending, but where is money being spent in our massive city budget that maybe isn't going where it should be, or if there is missing anything. We do always have really good external audit results, but if there's ways that we're able to identify how the city's budget can be more efficient and where we can identify savings,
Mhm.
I mean, that's exactly what I think we're looking for, so.
Yeah, there's a few spots that I believe that it's been evident from, you know, the risk assessments as they stand today, which is, you know, hearing your lean staff, as I've said before, you know, we need 2 or 3 more, we need 5 more, we need at least 1 more. It led me to think about the amount of overtime citywide, and those numbers are increasing every year. So it went from about 3 million, and now it's at 8 million in overtime. So it's a big jump, since 2019, I believe, and it'll only grow as time goes on.
Anything else for Shakira? All right. Well, thank
Okay,
you.
one last thing, contact information, Shakira Kalnick at normanok.gov. 405-366-5393 is my office number, but I often forward it to myself, so you'll always get me. Or the employees and Norman citizens are encouraged to call E. Bailey, a regional certified public accounting firm, at 866-912-5378 or email at www.ebailey.com/hotline to report improper activities. Those tips will remain anonymous if you do so choose, or you still may report them to your supervisor. Thank you for your time, council. I appreciate you.
Thank you for your work.
The next step, Mayor, would be for this to come forward on an actual agenda for adoption by the council.
And when would you like to do that?
As soon as you are ready. I know Shakira said if anyone else had additional comments to send to her to incorporate into this, so she probably want to give you a week or so to look through that. And then we could schedule it for the first meeting in October, probably. That would give ample time to bring it all together.
Would this be a consent item or a discussion item?
Should just be consent.
We all seem to consent here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, council.